Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Grizz 901. I'm your host, Daniel Greer, and we are a proud partner of Bluff City Media. It's a late night. It's 10:40 Central Time coming out of that game. It was the third game in 4 days, second game of a back-to-back. It looked like it. The first half looked very, very good for the Grizzlies. They were up by one going into halftime. That third quarter onslaught from the Phoenix Suns just did not let up. But that's what you get out of two vets like Booker and KD. But all in all, what a good night. I'm happy to be here. We didn't know if we were going to do this show. Let's just be honest, because it was a show that, hey, if they get run out, we're not going to be here because we haven't missed a show all year. But I'm actually really tired tonight. It's been a long day. I'm dealing with a kid who is sick. She has strep throat. So shout out to Margot. Hopefully she's sleeping good right now. But also my wife is actually sick, which isn't good because that means daddy duty, a.k.a. my oldest daughter, hopefully is helping me, which she is. But it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a fun show. It might not be too long because it is late, but let's start the show. Man, you're 1 hour behind us. Don't give me that. Come on now. What up, Nate?
I was fine for your intro. Yeah, man. Between the football today and then that game, I'm pretty sleepy too. It was a sleepy game. It wasn't bad. I'm not mad about the game, really. It was just a sleepy game.
No, listen. It was a sleepy game. It was a game that, hey, we're sitting there like, all right, we're close. We're close. And then we're just sitting there. We're not close. We're not close at all.
Where's Desmond Bain? Where's Desmond Bain?
Yeah, Desmond Bain didn't show up till late. But honestly, like I looked at his stat line. I was going to expect a much less. It was 27 points. I was like, all right. He still came through. It was nice. But anyway, I'm going to give a shout out real quick to. Man, I can never.
Yeah,
say
good
the name.
luck.
Good
luck.
All right, we're gonna just say happy birthday to you, Copa. We're just gonna go with Copa because I don't know how to say the Q and the K. That got me. If it wasn't the Q or the K, I think I'd have been good. But that one. So Copa, happy birthday to you. Shout out for being here all the way from Kenya. So obviously across the globe, it's very nice. But the chat is filling up, so I'm gonna get to a lot of these. And you know who joined us. I was expecting to see this name, Chantel Norwood, our Phoenix Suns fan. Well, I think we're the 1B are the Grizzlies, to her 1A of the Suns. So shout out to you, Chantel Woods. Thank you for being here. But let's talk a little bit about the Grizzlies. Take the loss, 116-109. The line on the game was 10.5. If that matters to you, Ryan actually talked me into taking that, and I took it. So shout out to Ryan for helping me cover there. But it was a game where the Grizzlies kind of just, I don't know, man. They looked out of sync. Give me your reasons why they were out of sync.
Like they were tired, man. They didn't have the same energy for the full 48. They had it for sort of spans and spurts. They would have it, but they didn't have it for the full 48 tonight. Desmond Bain, obviously he ended up with a really good stat line, but he was not really a factor until the fourth quarter when the game was already a little too far gone. So it was one of those where they just didn't have it as much tonight. And KD emptied the clip on all the missed shots last night. I don't know if you watched your game last night.
No,
because he had 22 points in the first half, I think. And I don't know if he missed a shot.
Yeah.
And missed literally every shot in the second half. I'm pretty sure he went 0 in the second half. And so that sucks for us because that didn't happen tonight. And then Devin Booker played really well. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to keep up that energy for a full 48 because those two guys are just elite scorers, right?
Yeah,
and
elite.
The Grizz, their legs failed them. There's a bunch of opportunities to make it a tighter game, put a little more pressure on the Suns. Santi missed a big bucket. Bane got that ball back after his missed free throw and then couldn't finish it off. And so just a lot of stuff that was tough tonight, but I thought it was a really good effort. All in all, I thought they carried over what they've had the past 2 games. They just didn't have the legs for it tonight. And so, yeah, there you go. Chantel's guys 0 for 10 last night in the second half. So
Crazy.
It would have been nice if he'd gone 5 for 10 and then saved 5 for tonight. But that's how it goes. But all in all, I thought it was a good effort by the team. Just not enough.
Yeah, 34 total turnovers, 17 by each team tonight. Sloppy game. Let's just keep it real. It was a sloppy game. It was a game that was kind of in the mud, especially early on. And honestly, it helped the Grizzlies. Once the game kind of got out, once the racehorses kind of got out of the stalls a little bit with KD and Booker, it was a wrap. And you saw that. And they kind of kept them at bay. And every time that they would come back, you feed it to Booker, you feed it to KD, and at that point, they're going to rock you to sleep. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's what vets do, especially superstars. A lot of good people, a lot of good players, that's what they're going to do. But overall, I'm looking at this game, and I feel good just with the simple fact that we stayed in the game in general. But I just think that tonight showed that they have a really good chance to be a really good team when Ja gets back, even with Marcus Smart getting back, Luke Kennard getting back, getting healthy. But I think it's going to be a good night. I'm going to throw it to you real quick because I know you're actually able to read more of the chat than I am just then. I think that's what you were smiling about. So pull up some stuff that you were looking through. Let's go take a ride through the chat real quick.
It's really just one thing. Chantel, once again, thanks for coming in here and thanks for being a real one and recognizing Jaren is the real dude.
Goon.
Shout out to LOL Note, making sure he created a good opportunity for content by making sure Goon knew that comment was for him, which Goon immediately replied, Chantel, no, he's not.
That's what I love there. That's it.
It was fun, man. It was fun. It was that's fun. But Jaren was awesome tonight. But that's the main thing I'm looking at is that. So Chantel, I think, unwittingly created amazing content for us. So shout out to all you guys in the chat. That's awesome.
All right, this one's for you, good. This one's for you, my guy. The Grizz 101 player of the game, Jaren Jackson Jr. I wanted to find a way just to put up a picture of like the name Goon on the left side or underneath, switch it to, instead of Jaren Jackson Jr., just put Goon the shooter under there. I didn't want to mess with it too much. I'm afraid that my design skills might hinder me. But Grizz 101 player of the game is Jaren Jackson Jr. Played so well. I think he found a little bit of something in that game. I'm hoping that's something he can build off of. And so we've been saying that he's got to demand the ball more. He's got to get more into the post, which can then create a lot of more movement, a lot of more open shots, a little bit more freedom for their offense. But overall, 37 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists and a block. Obviously, you want a little bit more on the defensive end from the block. But 1 is fine. I'll take that because he's going to have ebbs and flows. But shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr. For the big game out of him, 37 points. That's big. I haven't seen that. I don't know if I've seen that in a long, long time.
Well, I wish they'd have done it earlier. That pissed me off. When the Suns were on their third quarter run, it was like Jaren had the first bucket of the second half. Easy money bucket. And then he didn't touch it for 5 possessions in a row. They jacked up 4 threes and went to – I mean, I love Brevin. I know he's just trying to be a friendly guy, but I don't think that Bismack Biyombo hook is patented. So I'm not sure we should say that because I have very little faith in that shot. As much as Biz has been awesome for us, why didn't we go to Jaren then? I just don't understand. Anyways, but he played awesome tonight. Listen, he looked awesome all night, which is good because when he got his second foul, I was ready to freaking blow something up. It was pretty not a smart play, but after that, he was awesome, man. He was aggressive all night, and that's the kind of Jaren you want to see, you know. And it's good to know that we only got 6 more games, so John Morant's back. The Grizzlies are starting to look more like themselves, and Jaren, life's going to get easier and easier and easier for Jaren. after 6 games from now.
Yeah.
So the fact he's able to do this now is pretty good because they were trying to. I mean, he was the only thing hurting the Suns for a while. So
yeah, absolutely. As David Vicker says, he was the goon of the game. Shout out, David. I like that one. I laughed.
David's back on his roll.
David is back.
Rough night last night. We're back.
Yeah, but as LOL, nope. Jones says that's not him. That's him. He said, he had 37. I said the exact same thing when I looked at it because I knew he had 30-ish, right? But then all of a sudden I looked down and I saw 37. And I'm like, God, like he just kept going to the rim. And as Dak Jones says, he had like 6 straight possessions like in a row. Like he's just running straight to the basket. And so, man, what you said was great. And I wish if I didn't already have a YouTube username, mine would be Easy Money Bucket, because exactly what you said. I thought that was a very good way to explain that. But let's get into something else. And I think it just popped up because I literally was just about to talk about it. And dude, LOL, nope. Jones and David Vickers are reading my mind.
Dog.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
What are we doing? Like, you're wide open for a reason, dude. I mean, he started out last night. Last night, he came into the game shooting 35% from 3. Let's see. We're
talking about Xavier Tillman in case you're listening to this the next day, which a lot of people will be, especially for this episode. But
7 for 20. All right. Started 7 for 20 going into the Lions game. Let's see. Now he is 7. He's now shooting 28% from 3. That's like, and he's got so much space in front of him to be an effective player. It's dude. When he was the ball handler on that pick and roll, I was ready to end it all. It was such an abomination. I'm stuttering because I'm filled with so much hatred thinking about Xavier Tillman being the ball handler on a pick and roll. Like, I know he hit the 3 that sent the Grizzlies to the playoffs 7 years ago or whatever it was. Like, I don't give a dang. I don't care. I honestly am surprised he's made 7 cents. I love X, but X is making me hate X. Quit. Stop.
Just stop.
Get some help.
Just give it up, bro. Yeah, it was a game where 0-2 from deep, another 0-2 game. It's just the fact that what's happening is, and we've said this before with different players, right? That want to go out and shoot. You have to create instantly when you get the ball. Plus, you can't flare out off of a pick and roll that far. There's so many other things that you can do as a big man to be effective that you do not need to flare out, roll out, whatever you want to go. If you want to take a slant, a post route, whatever you're trying to do, whatever route you're going on, it does not have to go out past the 3-point line. Like, there is so many other things you can do. And the best thing that could possibly happen is you hold your screen. You hold it. You literally do what Steve-O does, and you hold the screen. Because guess what? They have to switch. And guess what? You get probably another player that isn't as big as the guy who's going to guard the other player. Like, that is just it's just common sense. If you can't shoot the 3, which you can't, you got to hold your screen. Sorry.
By the way, when he did hit that 3 against the Warriors, nobody was happy that was a shot the Grizzlies got. Side note.
Yeah. It's frustrating. Anyway, I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but I thought it was important to hit on that because
it's insanity, Daniel.
We were a little struggling in our chat that we have. But it was a game that had so many little things that can go the wrong way. And when you see the little things go the wrong way, you're like, man, just don't do that. And I think that we'll be better off because of it. But looking at the game overall, I didn't even put a ticker up, did I? Man, dude, I am losing. It's late, guys. It's late. Not that late, but it's late. But the Grizzlies lose 116-109. And so it was a game that, as I said earlier, it felt like it was closer at times. And then once the third quarter hit, it felt like it was just they kept you at a distance. But overall, you're talking about KD, a 27-point game, and then you talk about Booker, a 34-point game. So if you look at their two stars, 34 and 27, we had a 37 and 27. And so I felt like our guys played well. Let's talk a little bit about the bench. All right. And I'm going to ask some questions about these guys because I think everybody on the starters were fine. Nothing too crazy. Nobody played way out of their mind. I do think that 3 of 12 from Jalen Noel, that hurts, but he's a shooter. That's what he's going to do. But to answer your question earlier, I completely forgot to hit on this. The Grizzlies had 0 point guards tonight play. 0. I think that's what helped them. They kept them up a little bit out of sync, but there were 0 point guards. It was Jalen Noel, Desmond Bane, John Conchar. A lot of, even Vince Williams was playing the point guard duties. But going to the bench, Aldama played okay, 7 of 7. He didn't look great, especially 1 of 6 from deep. Xavier Tillman, we just talked about him. But these two guys, John Conchar and Vince Williams. John Conchar has not played, and he's kind of fallen out a little bit, right? And rightfully so. He has sucked this year. He has not played within himself. This might be one of the best games he's played all season. And if you look at the stats, 20 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds. But then, you go look a little bit deeper into the stats a little bit, and you'll see a steal and a block. And I think what you're also going to see within his game, and a lot of people that don't show up on the stats, is a lot of the effort plays. He's never going to win you the game. I don't think he's ever really going to lose you the game per se because he doesn't get enough minutes to really affect it. But I will say that he played really well. And Vince Williams, as always, dude, he's knocking down a three-pointer a game. I'd love to see that go to 2 for 4 or 2 for 5. I would like to see that number. But overall, 12 points. Ends up fouling out, but 6 rebounds and 2 assists. And so shout out to Vince Williams and John Conchar. I think they played really well.
The only time Vince Williams wasn't guarding Kevin Durant was when he was guarding Devin Booker.
Yes.
And he did a really good job.
Very good job.
I mean, those guys went, and how many points they put up? A lot of points. But that's just because they're awesome. Like, Devin Booker got a couple of easy looks tonight. Kevin Durant didn't have an easy look all night long. He maybe got one really wide open shot. Vince Williams did an awesome job tonight. They're asking him to do a lot out there. And so it was really good. I thought Jitty, just was solid in his minutes, which is all you can ask from him, right? It's like you don't want him to do more than that. You'd love for him to hit that corner 3. That'd be really nice. But outside of that, it's did everything you want him to do. Yeah. And that's all. I mean, with these guys, again, that's why it's so big when you get Marcus Smart back, John Morant back, even Luke Kennard back. It's like, okay, all you have to do is your job. And right now, a lot of guys have to do more than their job. And what we've seen the past 3 nights is a lot of facilitation to where they're able to do more than just their job, right? But I thought they did really well. I thought all the role guys played really well. Even Jalen Noel, for the most part, got good looks. They just weren't going down, right? And that's just going to happen some nights. The only issue I take with some of the shots from him and Roddy comes to mind too is it can't be you are the first person to touch the ball on your side of the court and you put the shot up. That's gotta, even if Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson are on the floor, that ball's got to move around, touch a couple of guys, maybe make it way back to you unless you're on a heater. But when you got Jaren and Bane on the floor, you can't just touch the ball as the first guy and take the shot with 17, 16 seconds left on the clock. Can't happen. So hopefully that changes when Ja comes back.
Yeah, I know his jersey number is 24, but he reminds me so much of Dylan Brooks because
keep saying that. I don't really get it.
Dude, he's a shot chucker. Like, he's going to get him up no matter what. I'm not saying he plays the same style of defense, but he'll take the irrational shot like you were just talking about, completely out of rhythm. Nobody touches the ball. He's just going to get it up because that's what those type of players do. I'm not saying it's the worst because you know what? When he does get hot, and honestly, I think he would know his role more, especially if Ja was on his team, even Marcus Smart, you're talking about even Luke Kennard, because he would probably know more to get them the ball. But when the shot clock kind of gets down a little bit, it always finds him because they know he is the guy who's going to be the creator, who can get his own shot. I'm not saying it's going in, but that's what happened to Dylan Brooks so much too. He was thrown a grenade with under 10 seconds on the shot clock so many times. And he honestly, instead of like trying to make a couple passes and trying to find somebody open, He's like, I'm going to go one-on-one and get a shot. And he would always get a shot. It didn't go in a lot, but that's exactly what Jaylen Noel does. Like, he's doing that right now for this team. That is not a negative. I'm saying their games match up because they're just chuckers a little bit. They want to go and create and get up some shots, and that's going to happen. And I'm okay with that, especially a guy off the bench. Right now, he's having to start, but a guy off the bench, I'm okay with that, especially if you get hot. Because if it gets hot, lights out.
Yeah.
You don't agree.
The reason no one was cool with Dylan was because he wasn't doing it because he was catching grenades. I agree that Noel's mostly doing it because he's catching their grenades. Dylan was doing that shit with 17 seconds left on the clock. That's why everyone got mad at Dylan, dude. What are we talking about?
But that's also what, like, literally, like, Jaylen Noel would jack up a three without anybody touching it, like in the first 10 seconds of shot clock. The same thing happened. I'm just saying.
A couple of times, yeah.
Exactly. I know Dylan did it much more. Okay. I'm not saying they're the same. I'm saying I can see it. Like, I can see just a little bit of the resemblance. And it's probably the 24 that I'm seeing just going and jacking up a random shot.
I'm just giving you a hard time because you like Jaylen Noel and you hate Dylan. So
I do like Jaylen Noel. And I can't, man, somehow Sane is on me already about being so right about Jaylen Noel being a guy. And I have to go on a show on the 7th. And he's literally keeps sending me the randomest stuff. I don't know. I'm going to regret going on the show on the 7th. And that's why he gives me so much crap about John Conchar. Thankfully, he had a decent night tonight because I've stuck up for Conchar. I think he's a decent player. He's never going to wow you. He's a decent player. But he thinks I'm the biggest Conchar fan. Just
might be. To
everybody else, behind closed doors, we speak the same language. Me and Sane. But in front of the public eye, we are completely different. And I don't think people understand that. But we're very much close to the same behind closed doors. So it's funny. But anyway, you don't believe me. He agrees the same thing that I do about Conchar, but he would never, ever admit it to anybody publicly. But I will put that out.
I actually do believe that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to our first break. We're going to skip the Pistons preview. I don't think it needs one. I think they suck. I think that we have sucked. I think it's going to be a who can play better that night. Can anybody figure out a way to play good? And I think that's what it's going to come down to. So we're going to skip that. It's going to be a shorter episode because it is a little bit later. So we're going to get to our last segment, which is the second segment. I'm going to come out with some Grizz trivia real quick. So let's go ahead and get to the break right here.
Has FAU somersaulted over a lot of other teams as like your most aggravating fan base?
Oh, easily. They just think they are so elite because they made this one run. You won this one fluky ass game where there were 6 or 7 different calls. Everyone were up in arms about like, what are we talking about? And it's not like a thing where they're like, hey, Memphis, great game. You guys are great competitors. I can't wait to see what the future holds between us. Because if they said that, I would respect them. I don't respect FAU fans. I don't.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Tigers fans,
always
salty about something, man. Tigers fans always mad about somebody.
You know, I had to play that today because you'll probably get the same similar response on the next show, on the next Tigers Untapped. Dude. Yeah, they're losing it over the Ole Miss loss today. So shout out to Tigers fans. That was a rough one for sure. All right, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the Grizz trivia. Before we get there, if you're watching over on Twitter, join us on YouTube. We've had a really good showing last game. So shout out to everybody. What winning does, winning brings the viewers, definitely. But if you're watching over there, come over here to YouTube if you can. We'd love to see your chat along with us so we can kind of keep up and keep along. But if for some reason you are busy, don't be. Take time. Hang out with us over at Bluff City Media all week. We have Tiger shows, Grizzly shows, anything you're looking for with Bluff City Media, we have it is coming out each and every week. And you're going to make sure you want to tune in Monday morning at 9 o'clock for the daily grind. But let's go ahead and get into our Grizz trivia right now. This should be an easy one, but I'm not sure because you're not a big historian of the Grizzlies, right? So I figured I'd go way back. but this is a Memphis Grizzlies question only.
Okay.
No Vancouver. Which coach led the Grizzlies to their first winning season?
Was it
In
Hubie?
chat, and if you know it, what is that?
Was it Hubie?
Hubie Brown.
Okay, I was about to say.
You're right.
That seemed like a bit. I'm like, that seems way too easy. Okay. After the Mounties and then Steve Francis or whatever it was. Hey, I'm 3 for 4 on getting these right.
You're not doing too bad, honestly. You want a really hard one the next time? I have
honestly, I can't believe I've gotten these all right.
I have the hardest one that I don't know how many people would get. I'm curious. So obviously, let's not do it tonight. Let's go ahead and wait till next week. I believe it's the T-Wolves game. So Wednesday we're gonna have the from Greg from Sleepers Media on with me. That'll give obviously an extended time off for Nate here. But the T-Wolves game on the 8th. Okay, so it'll be my hardest Grizzlies question I have in my portfolio as we speak. And there's actually multiple answers I could get. But I'm gonna ask. So it's gonna be a little bit more, involved. I think it'll be fun. But I'm gonna try to bring some kind of question to Greg. I have no clue what I'm gonna do yet. He's gonna come out with something. I've got to give him some kind of trivia. I don't know what it will be. It'll be something. But as Jack moved Johnny, Sidney Lowe, horrible coach. I hated Sidney Lowe. Hated him.
Dak brought Haddadi into the chat. Let's go.
I was looking at trivia questions for Hamad Haddadi as well because he's a guy that a lot of people liked, honestly. And so
I'm not going to get any of those.
No, you're definitely not.
No, if it's not Hamad Haddadi, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but anyway. All right, so looking at what we have, okay, let's talk about this because I thought it was going to be important to kind of discuss this. We had a little bit of discussion of this last time in our second segment. Is the 10-day that we have for Jalen Noel. It expires tomorrow. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. And if you listen to the show, I think Brevin actually hit on it tonight. It expires tomorrow, which is the 3rd. They have obviously a couple of days. I imagine it's going to be under the table, like, hey, let us figure it out. Give me a couple of days before the next game. You'll still be with us or whatever. We'll make sure that your little key card keeps working.
Exactly.
But just because of that, I want everybody to understand there could be some moves that are made over the next couple of days. It honestly could be made tomorrow somehow, some way. Any move that you expect to be made, if you had to choose one or the other, would it be letting go of
Jake Arabia?
Well, would it be cutting Kenny Lofton Jr., making a trade happen, or just not re-signing Jalen Noel?
I mean, if I could choose, I would make a trade happen. Obviously, that'd be the best path to go because you just want guys that can contribute. And out of this wing class, like, you can try and hold on to the hope of Jake LaRavia, but I don't know why you would. I mean, every part of that looks like a miss, right? From drafting him at all to extending him, all that looks like a miss. But trying to find a trade, I mean, it's not like Noel made the best case to re-sign him tonight, right? But he's really looks more. He belongs. He belongs on the court, and a lot of these guys don't. I think Kenny's probably the most likely thing is Junior gets waived. From the rumors we've heard, the most likely trade scenario involved Conchar. If you're trying to make that move, he doesn't play tonight, probably, no matter how many bodies down you are. So I don't think that's going to happen right now, at least. And they're not going to cut Jake LaRavia, despite my high hopes that they would. It's free money to me, not to Robert Pera. So they're not going to cut Jake LaRavia. Most likely, Kenny gets waived because there's just not a path to minutes for him.
Yeah.
Right? pretty clear that that's just probably not going to happen at this point. So I wouldn't be super surprised to see that happen, but I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's no telling what they want to do with a bunch of the wings coming back. Like that's something that our guy Sean was talking about on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, today and yesterday. Was talking about how you've got a bunch of guys coming back, and I really didn't think about that when we were talking about last time. I was like, it's been such a hectic season. I'm like, Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard don't exist to me, right? But the fact is, they're coming back. So, are you wanting to have a bunch of dead money for a wing logjam? As a fan, I hope they do, because I want guys that can actually play.
Yeah.
As a franchise and that has real money on the line, might not be what they want to do, though. So,
yeah. David Vickers said Jacob Gilliard. So we hit on that a little bit last time. Jacob Gilliard is on a two-way. You're not going to transition an NBA contract guy to a two-way contract. I don't expect Jalen Noel to be signed to a two-way because the simple fact, I think you have to be in your first 3 years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But also there is a rule, and I read up on the two ways. Okay, so you can play up to 50 games on a two-way contract in the regular season. Okay, so that helps with Vince. The other thing is you can also have a 90 games that you can play two-way guys. So every game that they're active, not even playing, but active. And that means Jacob Gilliard right now. Jacob Gilliard is active for this team. That means that every time he's active, that goes into that 90 game deal. And so I know they have him on the team, and I know they have him active because they're thinking that they're not going to play GG that many games this year. And they know that they only have Jacob Gilliard right now because as soon as Ja gets back, at the most you have him active is his 25 games. What that does is you're probably going to have Vince active for all 50, except for when they actually do pull him up and sign him to a real NBA contract this season, because you cannot play any playoff games. And so I hope everybody understands that. It's very tricky. It's sometimes it's hard to understand, but there is a max 50 for a player, and there's max 90 games total for all of your two-way players combined for regular season games only. That does not reset. No matter if you get rid of one and release and get another one, your 90 games is a complete number. You can't actually just say, hey, we reset because we got rid of that guy. We got a new one in. No, it doesn't work like that. So just want to help explain the two-way deal and also Jacob Gilliard, since you brought that up, David.
Well, and that kind of brings me to the last part of my thinking is if you are the Grizzlies, who is a priority for you to get onto the active roster by the end of the year? It's probably Vince Williams over Jalen Noel, right?
It has to be.
Right, because it's not only for this year, but also long term. It's like, hey, this might be the wing we actually hit on in that draft.
Well, and the great thing is, the great thing with all of that is you get Vince Williams on his 50 games almost up into, and I think it exceeds past the trade deadline. Okay. So when all of this moving and shaking happens, Vince Williams is fine. He's on a two-way. He's not making as much money as he probably wants to make. And that's probably not as much as he's going to make. But he will be signed to a full contract this season. Because for one, there's no way they're going to take him from a two-way and somehow make a trade happen while he's on a two-way. Because one, he's very good, especially for his age, but also for what he's doing for this team. And so I think you're going to see that happen. So some people might want that to happen sooner rather than later. It changes nothing. Okay. Just like Kenny Lofton Jr. last year, he was actually able to play in the playoffs. He was active during the playoffs. And so and that's because he signed his contract really late. And so we'll see that the same thing happen again, but we're going to have to see it probably a lot sooner, because I would imagine Vince is carving out a role on this team. But you're going to probably see whenever they do make some moves, they're going to send out more than they're bringing back at some point to make sure they make room for him, sign him to a contract, pick up another guy for the G League, and see what happens. Maybe we can release Jake. Maybe he clears waivers.
Tomorrow?
Somebody else signs him, and then we somehow get him back again on a two-way. Can we do that?
Why would we want him back?
I'm kidding. Just on a two-way.
Sorry.
I'm okay with him.
I need to quit
in the G
hating.
League.
I need to quit hating on Malibu's most wanted. Sorry, Jay Ravia. Joe Ravia. My bad. I forgot about that. Man, Vince Williams looking a little bit like the Grizzlies version of Cam Johnson. I wonder if someone called that back in his rookie summer league.
Oh my God. All right.
So
yeah, so we'll hit on the trade stuff as we probably get a little bit closer to the trade deadline. But once things happen, right now, I'm not going to spend too much time on hypothetical trades unless they actually have some smoke to them. If they have smoke, we'll hit on them. But I don't think there's anything. The only reason we need to hit on anything else. Anything else you have on the team or the game? If not, we might take like 3 or 4 minutes to hit on the Pistons preview.
I have one question for you because we talked about this a few games ago.
Yep.
We were both pretty staunchly in a position of the Grizzlies. There's no way they can compete to win a championship this season, no matter how well the season goes when Ja gets back and they get into the playoffs, play in whatever it may be. With the way that they've turned it around and played the past few games, are you still in that mindset? Do you think there's still too many holes no matter what? Or do you think maybe the way they've been playing, they found something we didn't think they could find?
You know, that's a good question. I am not sold on Biyombo at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing because there's so many lost possessions with Biyombo in his sky hook. And I just don't like it at all. I think he's fine. There's a reason that he's a vet in the league, somebody that you can go to, somebody that's actually helped Jaren. I just don't know if you can run him out at the 5 and be confident that you can really be good enough to win a championship. I think that they have set themselves up to make a playoff run at this point. And honestly, I still think they need to win at minimum one more game, at minimum. But also you need to have them probably win another any game after one more win. So after the game, after winning 6 wins, anything after that is kind of cake. And that sucks. And that's terrible. But I'm telling you, that is what really this team needs because they can make a run. But we're already talking about, and I want to ask you about this question too. What kind of info does Gilbert Arenas have? Is he shooting from the hip? Or does he actually have info when he's saying that Ja isn't going to play in the first game when he's supposed to play in New Orleans and he's going to make it in, I guess, in the grindhouse against the Pacers? Do you think there's any smoke to that?
Listen, anytime Gilbert Arenas is shooting at all, I try and make sure I'm out of the way. Just saying. Sorry, you put it on a tee. And it's pretty relevant because we're talking about Ja. Sorry. It was just right there. I don't know what you want me to do. It's like a beach ball. Hell if I know, dude. I don't know. He might know something. I've watched that clip exactly once. It seems to me like he's probably just shooting from the hip, but
I'm thinking.
I got no idea. Who knows?
Well, my thinking
Makes
is,
sense.
I get it makes sense, but okay, let me just explain this, why it doesn't make sense. Why, if you're Ja Morant, you're going to now turn your 25-game suspension into a 26-game suspension because you want to play your first game at home?
I don't know, because it's at home. That's all I got. He gets paid for the one extra game. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's a lot of times people come back from injury and they'll do that at home, something like that. So it fits with that, but it is different because it's a suspension. I don't know, dude. Like I said, I don't think he has some rock solid info. I'm just saying it makes sense how NBA players work.
I thought about
NBA players have a flair for the dramatic.
I think he plays in New Orleans. I just think he does because you're trying to get back as soon as you can. You're trying to help this team win. One game could be the deciding factor of getting into the 11th, 10th, 9th spot. Maybe higher than that if they somehow play over their heads. But it's big. One game could be.
But here we are.
Yeah, one game could be big if we ever get to that point. All right, that's enough about that. Let's get to a little bit of the Pistons. Anything with the Pistons that you've seen that you like, don't like? in general with him?
Really like Cade Cunningham. That dude's freaking awesome.
He is awesome.
Same to Jalen Duren. Still can't forgive the Lakers for being that bad that year. I don't like that they've buried Jaden Ivey, even though he actually did play a lot more tonight. Somebody was out. I don't know who was out, but they played Jaden Ivey a lot more tonight. It's a cluster over there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Killian Hayes is still alive and well somehow on an NBA roster. Isaiah Stewart scares the death out of me. So stay away from that guy. I don't know, but like I love both the Thompson twins. So I don't know which twin it is that plays for the Pistons. Asar. So
bro,
got to watch him tonight. He looked like a rookie, but I love watching those kind of athletic dudes play. But Cunningham's good enough to freaking torch you, dude. And it's scary thinking about a Grizzlies team that struggles a little bit heading into Wednesday night, but it's pretty fun to think about just watching as an NBA fan, guys like that play. But yeah, it's a cluster over there, dude. They're worse than us.
and as Carlos Yates says, pray for the Grizzlies. Like sometimes you just gotta pray. One guy that you didn't mention that I thought you were going to talk about is Bojangles. He's actually back. 3 of 10 tonight from deep, 22 points overall. Bojangles scares me because he's going to just get them up. And that's what it's going to be fun, but it's also going to be like scary of please don't make a bunch because he could be the deciding factor in the game.
I didn't want to talk about him because it hurts too much. Because he's still not a Memphis Grizzly. The way that Grizzlies have been playing, the activity on the defensive end, the energy they've been given, it doesn't freak me out as much, to be honest. Because the Grizzlies still have put up 105 and 109 or something like that. What did they put up the past couple of games? 105, 109, 109 in the past 3?
I think 108.
They're still not 108. They're still not lighting it up. It's just the defensive effort is what's leading to these wins and the energy. And so that doesn't worry me as much. It's more so like if individual efforts like tonight are what can get you if you're playing like that, right? If you go up against something like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and you just don't have the horses to keep up with that. I just don't think the Pistons have that, right? As long as Jaren can play more than 14 minutes, I feel pretty good about Wednesday night in all seriousness. Bojangles is not the kind of guy that scares me against the Grizzlies if they keep playing with this kind of effort. I'm just going to be really sad seeing him in not a Grizzlies uniform for yet another season. Yeah,
listen, he's getting back healthy. He went 7 of 15 overall, 3 of 10 from deep. But yeah, it is Cade Cunningham. He almost had a triple-double, 23, 8, and 11 tonight. Jalen Duren, who you were talking about, at 17 and 12. And so, listen, there's going to be a lot. There's no basketball tomorrow. I don't know if anybody realized that or not. There's no NBA tomorrow. And I don't know why. I'm guessing it was because of the way this whole thing played out, the in-season tournament. But yeah, there's no NBA tomorrow. This is going to kind of, give way to the in-season tournament starting in Vegas. And so that should be fun. I'm excited to see what that looks like, see how much these guys really care, to see, those, paychecks kind of getting cut to the winning team. But also what this does is it's 2 games this week. And I would imagine, and I don't know the full schedule. Let me go look at that real quick. And so I think that would be important to kind of see that. So Monday, the in-season tournament quarterfinals is being played. Listen, fun for me. Tuesday, there is another quarterfinals game being played for just those teams. So everybody is off for the NBA for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, except for the 8 teams playing in the quarterfinals. And then you get back to normal basketball on Wednesday. It's a full slate. And then you go back Thursday again to the semifinals. And then you go Friday. You go Friday back to NBA play again. And then Saturday is actually the championship. And so it should be a lot of fun. In my opinion, I don't know if you are going to keep up with it, Nathan, because he's obviously fell asleep at this point. but I think I'm excited about what this looks like. This is a complete something that we have never seen. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But honestly, the rest of this week, you have real games, I guess, championship kind of games that are Monday and Tuesday. And then the NBA plays Wednesday, Friday. And then you have semifinals on Thursday, championship on Saturday. Listen, we have never had it. We've never done it. I think it's going to be exciting. So anyway, that's all we got for the show. We're gonna let him sleep because I think it's important to let him get some beauty sleep because he definitely needs it. But anything else you have on tonight's show, tonight's game, what's upcoming? You're off until Friday.
Go basketball. Yay, basketball. Listen, I like the effort from the team tonight. I think that's the biggest thing to take away is I thought it was still looked like the Memphis Grizzlies. They didn't have the horses tonight. So good to see the effort carry over. If they carry it over into Wednesday night, I feel really, really good about them picking up their 6th win.
Okay. I like it. You know what Wednesdays are? For winning. We're going to be winning Wednesday. That's all we got. I'll see y'all Wednesday. It's going to be a fun Sunday, but we're going to have some days off, which will be very nice to relax a little bit, get a little refresher. But these 2 games this next week will be really nice to kind of take a break from. Not too much. Hopefully the guys get their legs back. It'll be important, but also we could start getting back Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard coming back soon. And so those might be important. The news about Jalen Noel is going to break at some point before the next game, I would imagine. And so there could be some storylines that come out from that. And so there's a lot of interesting news. The season's not over. The season is not done. It's not doom and gloom as it had been. And so I'm excited about that. So hopefully we're here Wednesday. Make sure you tune in. We have Greg Waddell from the Sleepers Media. If you have never seen him, he's very good, very funny. And so it's going to be a very good show. So we'll see y'all then. See you Wednesday. Be nice and tell your friends.